Hi, my name is Maya Clauson-Nehus. I internshipped over the summer at Great Peninsula Conservancy, and this is my capstone research presentation. I decided to look into forest management, specifically patch cuts, because I thought patch cuts were very interesting. And when I looked at them, I thought that they were kind of redundant because originally, I thought they were redundant because you were taking kind of an acre of a preserve or land and you're just cutting off all the old growth or, just making it so that the understory had more light. And it seemed kind of silly to cut down trees. Um, so I decided to look into how those are beneficial to the forest because Great Peninsula Conservancy has a lot of preserves and they do a lot of different forest management, which is, it covers a very broad topic. And so this was the one that I wanted to examine the most. Um, I focused on Swainson's thrush, which is a local bird population that really likes understory. So I kind of honed my research into them specifically. My research questions are, did the patch cuts made by GPC create better habitats for Swainson's thrush in the short term specifically, because my research was only over, a summer? And what are the benefits to using patch cuts as a forest management tactic? During my internship, I went to the field twice a week to gather data on girdled trees from the preserves that Great Peninsula Conservancy has. I visited Grover's Creek, which is their largest, at 196 acres, which is also where all of my research, my personal research, was taking place. I used GPC's acoustic audio moth data that was ran once annually for 3 years in three different patch cuts, all within the same Grover's Creek area. Here I aim to assess the presence of Swainson's thrush as a songbird within this preserve. Presence was indicated by the common bird call, not any of the mating calls or anything like that. Each was hand verified by someone at GPC. The staff was very helpful. I visited each patch cut myself. There were three total. There were four total and three that I ended up using for my research, as the fourth didn't really fit the same criteria as the others. Um, yeah. And so overall, when I was able to get all of that data from the audio moth and see the presence of the Swainson's thrush, I was able to see that after the patch cuts were created, there was significantly more presence of the Swainson's thrush than there were previously. In 2022 was before the patch cuts were created, and then 23 was kind of like as they were being created shortly after, and 24 is a year after they were being created, all within the spring. These were ran all within the spring months. So overall, as seen in my graph in the middle there, Swainson's thrush common call skyrocketed after the creation of the patch cuts, indicating that the patch cuts at least helped Swainson's thrush flourish in this area where they maybe weren't before. This could be for many reasons aside from the cut itself. However, Swainson thrush tend to favor the understory creation, so it would at least imply that the cuts helped. There are other reasons that, Swainson thrush could be more present in this area, whether that be, weather or habitat changes that I didn't personally see or get to research. But from what I saw, this was the most direct correlation that I was able to make. I also looked at literature review a lot to see the benefits of patch cuts, as I wasn't able to, do everything within just my internship. Literature indicated that the use of patch cuts could speed up forest natural progression and create a more varied canopy structure, which was cool. And it also creates a different sort of vegetation with the understory and allows other species of wildlife to flourish, kind of like the Swainson's thrush does here. As there's different, as there's a lot of understory growth, there's a lot of, old growth. So the vary of it created a more, biodiverse area. The implications of this are that patch cuts are valid and productive. They're a great form of forest management as long as they're done correctly. If they're not done correctly, then it can kind of just stunt the growth of the entire ecosystem. So it should be done with a lot of care and with thought to the entire ecosystem. You don't want to cut down a habitat of something that's extremely endangered just because you might get some of these common birds to come over. And I think that the continued monitoring of these sites at GPC should allow for more insights into species changes, not just with Swainson's thrush, but with other species to see if any of them particularly like the area as well. Um, and yeah, in summary, I think that patch cuts are a great way to manage a forest as long as they're done correctly. They definitely help Swainson's thrush. And it was a very interesting thing to look at the GPC internship that I did. I'd like to thank my site supervisor, Tim, and my faculty advisors, Michaela and Adrian, who were super helpful with everything. And, my family, my friends, my boyfriend, all of that shebang. And my co-intern who helped me endlessly. Thank you, Abby. And yeah.